Why was Ellen Pompeo afraid Grey's Anatomy would ruin her career? Who auditioned for 3 different parts before landing the show? And why did the show creator Shonda Rhimes hate Patrick Dempsey from the first day of auditions? Hi, I'm Joy. Let's begin. Justin Chambers as Alex Karev. Did you know that the character of Alex was not supposed to appear on the show? It might surprise you, but it was only after the Grey's Anatomy pilot that the character of Dr. Alex Karev was added. Justin Chambers admitted in a Paley convention in 2008 that the character wasn't even created yet. They sent the pilot to New York, where I live, and I saw it and I loved it, and I went out to LA to try to win the part and auditioned and got the role. So that's how Alex came about. At the time, the creators thought that the show needed one more male character, and once they saw Justin, they decided he was the perfect fit. Reflecting on how exactly the casting process for the role of Alex went, Chambers said, "I'd done a pilot for ABC that didn't get picked up. They liked what I did in that, and they brought me in to do a screen test with Ellen. I guess they felt they needed a jerk, so they brought in this jerk. It worked out." In fact, what a coincidence. That unsuccessful pilot that Justin did back then was for the Secret Service. Correct, the same show that Pompeo almost chose over Grey's Anatomy. After Justin was cast, scenes had to be digitally inserted into the pilot episode. Imagine getting to play a role for 15 years that was not even initially scripted. Lucky, right? However, our hearts are still broken by the ridiculous way Karev left Grey's Anatomy. His character definitely deserved a decent finale storyline like the creators did for Cristina. Sandra Oh as Cristina Yang. Can you imagine Sandra in the role of Bailey? Yeah, it's hard to believe, but Oh originally auditioned for the role of Bailey, but it turned out it wasn't quite what she had in mind.
I first auditioned for the part of Miranda Bailey. And thank
really
God
good.
I did not get that part. Can you imagine not having her? Forget it.
Seems like Sandra was absolutely not able to imagine herself in this role, as she commented, "I played Bailey nothing like how Bailey was supposed to really be," which is Chandra Wilson. And they said, "You know what, we're gonna test a bunch of people. Why don't you come in? We'd love for you to test for Bailey." Yang explained that at the time she was persistently training the skill of demanding what she wanted in her life, and she saw that part of Cristina Yang and immediately knew that was a role she wanted to play. So the actress didn't hesitate and straightforwardly said she wanted to take on the role as she knew it hadn't been cast yet.
Even though Shonda and Peter and Betsy wanted me to come in for the part of Bailey, I said, no, I want to come in on Cristina.
However, Oh was extremely nervous for her audition for Cristina, but Shonda Rhimes and the casting team helped her relax. She simply read through the scene with them, and shortly after, she got the part. Who could have known that choosing to play that particular role would lead her to such huge success? Oh received a lot of awards for Grey's Anatomy, which helped her land her dream role in Killing Eve, so the risk was definitely worth it. Still, if you think that auditioning for 2 roles in the same show is a lot, just wait till you hear the next audition story. Jessica Capshaw as Arizona Robbins. Believe it or not, Jessica auditioned for quite a few roles before she was successful. So, much respect to Dr. Arizona Robbins, known as Chief of Pediatric Surgery at Gray Sloan Memorial Hospital. This lady shows that persistence really does pay off eventually. Capshaw tried 3 different auditions with Grey's Anatomy's casting team. She first went up for the role of McDreamy's love interest, Nurse Rose, then followed up with an audition for Sadie, Meredith Grey's wild friend, and then finally landed the gig that has seen her gainfully employed right up to the present day. And again, you never know what failure can lead you to greater success. The part of Nurse Rose eventually went to actress Lawrence DeMille, but she was never to be seen again after 2 short seasons. So Jessica can definitely be considered lucky. It's clear that Capshaw really adores her on-screen persona. She described the role saying, "I am quite in awe of this character's resilience and her ability to weather storms and get through them and move on. I love it so much when they write it for her and I get to play it so much." And while some actors try their best doing multiple auditions and screen tests for several roles, others don't care that much and even miss auditions. Stay tuned to find out who did this and almost lost their chance of starring in Grey's. Ellen Pompeo as Meredith Grey. It seems almost impossible to imagine Grey's Anatomy without Ellen Pompeo portraying Meredith Grey, but the truth is, she wasn't supposed to be part of this legendary show. Pompeo was originally going for a role in another ABC pilot. She shared, "I met Bob Oakey and Alex Kurtzman. They wrote a show called Secret Service. I really wanted to do that, and the studio really wanted me to do Grey's instead. Luckily for Ellen, the show wasn't picked up, and the showrunners of Grey's, impressed with her natural talent, asked her to audition for the role of Meredith instead. Pompeo recalled, "I read Grey's and I went and met Shonda and I decided to come on and do this. It was just an invitation and I happily accepted." However, after accepting an offer, Ellen was actually worried that she'd ruined her career as a film actress, because even before Grey's Anatomy, Pompeo actually had a moderately successful acting career. She guest starred twice in Law & Order and even in an episode of Friends. Pompeo hated medical shows, but eventually decided to take the part on Grey's as she needed the money. Who knew that at some point Grey's would turn the young actress into a producer and director of the show that made her a household name? 3 years ago, during an interview for The Hollywood Reporter, she commented, "I've finally gotten to a place where I'm okay asking for what I deserve, which is something that comes only with age. I've been this character for 14 years, but the truth is, anybody can be good on a show season 1 and 2. Can you be good 14 years later?" Even though Ellen was a frontrunner for the role, if she had turned it down, someone would have stepped in, right? And that someone was Amanda Foreman, who's best known for her roles on the TV shows Felicity, Awkward, and minor roles in a couple of the Star Trek movies. She auditioned for Meredith and had her eye on the role of Cristina Yang, but Sandra Oh had already been chosen for the part. That casting was pretty unfortunate for Amanda, but unexpectedly, she did appear later in season 7 of Grey's as Nora, the wife of a man who had lost both of his arms during a logging accident. Not a big role, but still, as it turns out, sometimes guest stars unexpectedly turn into leads. This actually happened with one of the cast members of the show, Kate Walsh as Dr. Addison. Can you believe that Kate Walsh was originally only added to the cast of Grey's Anatomy as a temporary hire? Thanks to her sparkling personality and relationships with the rest of the cast, Walsh was made a permanent fixture and even went much further with the private practice spin-off. Before auditioning for Grey's, Walsh already had a pretty bright career, but obviously the biggest success came with the role of Addison, which immediately won the place of favorite role in Kate's heart.
First of all, I love to play a character that has there's a multitude of degrees that I have. I'm like neonatal, perinatal, I make a mean souffle, I wear great shoes.
However, in real life, Kate is quite different to her character. Walsh really enjoyed playing someone in control of people, which is pretty different from her offset daily life.
Unfortunately, my world is small. I have like 2 cats and a dog, so it's like, do that. I run a tight ship.
But while Walsh was not planning to become a long-term character on the show, another cast member was not planning to join at all and missed the audition. Camilla Luddington as Jo Wilson. Camilla Luddington was not too worried about losing her possible role in Grey's Anatomy and chose to simply mind her own business, choosing a game promotion over an audition.
And then I went to Comic-Con and I heard that they were auditioning for Grey's Anatomy and that they were also auditioning for Alex's new love interest. And I actually missed the auditions.
Thankfully, the producers didn't find the one that day and Camilla got a second chance. As Luddington was already known to Shonda Rhimes, she was invited to audition again. And fortunately, she landed her breakout role as Jo Wilson.
She called me in on Monday, and I think I knew by Wednesday, and I started Friday.
But landing the role that fast wasn't the only thing that Camilla got lucky with. Dr. Jo Wilson was initially supposed to be a temporary character in a recurring role, but as we know, she stuck with Grey's much longer than expected. And of course, long-lasting roles tend to coincide with numerous events in the actors' real lives. So it's no surprise that in season 13 we were able to witness Camilla's real-life pregnancy. I bet Luddington never saw that coming when she missed her first audition. And while Camilla was clearly liked by Shonda, not everyone got Shonda's approval. Patrick Dempsey as Derek Shepherd. Can you believe that our charming Dr. Shepherd was absolutely terrified that the show's creator Shonda hated him from day one? Patrick shared his memories from the day he entered the auditioning room. First, he was absolutely calm because he'd previously worked with the director of the series, Peter, who was friendly and warm. Nothing bad was supposed to happen until Dempsey saw Shonda.
And then Shonda Rhimes looks at me. No expression, just looks at me. The entire meeting just looking at me. No expression, no warmth, nothing.
At that point, Patrick was confident that it was not gonna work. He was completely terrified and thought,
Shonda Rhimes hates me.
poor guy, how stressful. But in reality, Shonda was just thinking. Nobody hated him. The creator was just trying to come up with some interesting dialogues for him.
I was trying to figure out what dialogue I could write for him to say. I mean, honestly, the entire time that he was in the room, he walked in the room, I was like, oh my God, he's so dreamy. I mean, seriously.
And that was exactly what they were looking for. In fact, another Grey's actor, Isaiah Washington, also auditioned for the role of Dr. Shepard, but when Patrick Dempsey and his dreamy eyes came along, Washington's audition had no chance of being successful. If you enjoyed these Grey's Anatomy audition secrets, go watch more videos like this on our channel. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay awesome!